Hi, welcome to videos on feedback amplifiers. So in this we will see series and amplifier feedback amplifier analysis. Of course, this is the op-amp based circuit, where we have a non-inverting amplifier. So with the feedback given using R1, R2 network. So RL is the load resistance. This is the source having a source resistance of RS. And looking from here, this is the input impedance after feedback. This happens to be the R input impedance considered feedback effect. Again over here, including RL, it is the output resistance with feedback. Excluding RL, including this feedback network, it is the R out of the amplifier after feedback. So in the last video also we just saw how to estimate H parameters of the feedback network. So let us have a relook into the things. So H11 happens to be V1 by I1 with V2 as 0. So this is when V2 is 0, now we're going to short circuit this second port. So when you short circuit this, R1, R2 will come in parallel. So that's why H11 is a resistive parameter, is R1 parallel R2. So this will be represented by R1 parallel R2, where R1, R2 represents the feedback network. Similarly, estimation of H12 as per the equation, it is V1 by V2 with I1 equals 0. So when I say V1, it is a voltage at port number 1 with I1 0 means with this as open circuit, and V2 is the voltage that is available here. So out of V2, how much is reaching at this point? This is actually the feedback factor beta. So it is given by R1 by R1 plus R2. So H12 is actually the feedback factor beta. And estimation of H22. So we know that H22 is defined by I2 by V2 with I1 equal to 0. Again, when we say I1 equal to 0, we are open circuiting this. And when I open circuit this and then try to apply some voltage, try to measure what is the current I2. So the ratio of I2 by V2 happens to be 1 over R1 plus R2. So this will be the value. So this is how H22 is estimated. Coming to the last parameter, which is H21. So this is slightly different over here. So because this feedback network is used for feeding the a portion of the output back to input, and this is usually done using a electrical resistive network. This will not actually have any gain in that one, so that will not offer any gain, so that H21 is represented as 0. So when H21 becomes 0, this is open circuited. When it is open circuited, now you can see it looks like this. So whatever parameter you have, H21 has been moved here, and then H22 is actually moved over here, and then H12 this is V0 which is actually V2 over here, it is placed here, and H21 is now represented by open circuit. Now this is how we are representing the feeding H parameters onto the amplifier circuit. So we had actually, this is practical case of the feedback network. So this is how it was looking like. Now there was a RS is here, and there is a RL which was there. The output has been moved over here, and this is H11, and this is the dependent voltage dependent voltage. So this is considered to be 0 now. So that is 0 means open circuit, 0 current is open circuit, H22 is over here. Now in order to make sure that even though this is a feedback network, we want to represent the feedback network as an ideal feedback network. Now it looks like ideal. The other non-idealities of this H11 has been moved over here, and H22 has been moved over here. And you can see these two are 100% same circuit. So instead of representing H11 at this point, we are representing it over here. Similarly, instead of representing RS as a part of your voltage source, for analysis purpose, we are taking this RS as a part of amplifier circuit. Again, this RL and H22 are considered as part of amplifier circuit, rather than they're not considered as load resistance, source resistance, and H parameter values. This typical circuit of non-inverting amplifier can be obtained using H parameters by this way, and ultimately you can write it this way. This is the typical series shunt feedback amplifier. So the feedback network equivalent circuit is being represented here, and you can see exactly look like an ideal feedback network. Now you can see this is ideal feedback network, and all the you can see this is also Vs. This looks like open circuit. This looks like it doesn't have any source resistance, but whatever source resistance, whatever load, whatever H11, H22 it has had, all have been transferred onto the amplifier. Now we need to re-estimate the what input impedance, output impedance, and what is the open loop gain of this amplifier after moving all these parameters over here. And this is how it looks for an amplifier. Amplifier had a resistance of RID, which was originally without moving this RS and R1, H11. You can see this is RS, which is due to the source, and this is RL, which is due to the load, and this R0 is as it is there being retained as it is. Then you can see this is H22. Actually H22 is 1 over R1 plus R2. You cannot have a conductance over there, so we are representing it as impedance. So R22 is actually 1 over H22. It is now equal to R1 plus R2. And of course you can see this H11, which was over here, has been moved to here, which is actually R1 parallel R2. So this way, this non-ideal typical amplifier is now looking like an ideal amplifier with modifications in the amplifier parameters. We will see an example for the same series shunt amplifier, and let us consider the non-idealities and try to estimate what is the effect of that. So we'll see the circuit there. Okay, this is circuit what we are looking into. So what it says is the op-amp has an open loop gain of mu, a differential input impedance of RID, and an output resistance of R0. Of course, so far we have analyzed all these equations using ideal op-amp circuit, that is, we neglected the value of RID, that is, we assumed it to be infinity, and we assumed the value of R0 to be 0. So this is how we started deriving the equations, and also we didn't consider any source and the load resistance while deriving the equations of AF, that is closed loop gain, the input impedance, output impedance with feedback. So we considered all of them as ideal parameters. Now they're not ideal. So here we wish to use the feedback method to analyze circuit taking non-idealities of RID, R0, RS, and RL into account. So by taking all these non-idealities of the amplifier, which is RID is not infinity, R0 is not 0, RS is not again 0, and RL is not infinite. So we consider all finite values and try to find an expression for what is the open loop gain of the amplifier, what is the feedback factor, what is the closed loop gain of the amplifier, and what is the input and output resistance of the amplifiers. And for this we are assuming the value of open loop gain as 10 power 4. The input resistance is 100 kilo ohm, the output is 1 kilo ohm, the load resistance is 2 kilo ohms, and R1, R2, the feedback resistance is 1 mega, and we have the source resistance as 10 kilo ohms. So this is the source resistance of the source. So this is what we have. This is source having a associated resistance Rs with the corresponding value. Okay, this is what we have, the actual circuit. So as we discussed in the previous case, so we're going to replace all these, we're going to move all these values of RS, H11, H12, and all those parameters onto this amplifier, and we'll re-estimate what is the gain of this amplifier. So this is what we have done now. You can see this is the ideal series shunt amplifier. Okay, when you actually consider this is ideal, of course this we are assuming to be infinity, Ri, this is 0. We can see this is open circuit, it's not actually loading, and you can see this source is also not having any resistance, and this load is also almost infinity. They are considered as open circuit. With all these as ideal things, and this as closed loop gain, input impedance, output impedance with feedback, and of course we also find for the expression for the lower cutoff frequency and higher cutoff frequency, that is the bandwidth of the amplifier. So now we will consider this typical amplifier to look like an ideal one. So this is not exactly an ideal one. It will now look like an ideal one because we know that this is the ideal thing. So this should have zero resistance, and this should have open circuit, and this is again open circuit, and this should not have any series resistance. You can see these two are exactly same. So can you see here these two are, let me just make one small change. Now you can see this is the ideal case where you had no RS, no RL, and of course these two are infinity and zero, and we didn't had any loading effect. So can you see this and this are exactly same in terms of source is not having any resistance and load is not having resistance, and you can see there is an open circuit here. There is only a dependent source. But you can see now, so this whatever actual load resistance we had has been moved here, and whatever actual loading effect was there has been moved here. Now this amplifier, which was now ideal, has been made non-ideal by taking all these non-idealities into the amplifier. Now whatever equation we had it in the previous slide, I can still do the same thing, because this practical circuit will exactly look like an ideal circuit here. Can you see is there a difference between this circuit and this circuit? They are exactly same. Only thing is that this amplifier should have a different gain now. So it should have a different gain. It should not be again mu. It should be a different value, because this was mu with considering this as ideal values. So when you are considering these non-ideal values move down to this amplifier, this open loop gain of the amplifier will change. I can see we are writing it in detail. How does this amplifier is looking like? Now you can see this is how the amplifier is looking. You can see RS is coming over here, and this is H11, which is exactly R11, which is R1 parallel R2. We can see this is the voltage source mu into V1. It is exactly same. This is R0, and this RL is being put over here, and this H22 is actually 1 over H22. Now it is R1 plus R2. Now we will actually find out what is the actual gain of this amplifier after moving all these things. Now let us see what is, now it is to re-estimate the open loop gain of the op-amp. So considering this circuit, so let us modify this. So we know this mu is equal to 10,000, RID is 100k, and R0 is 1 kilo ohm. All these are the values that we already know it. So let us try to see. Let us write the KVL for this outer loop. So can you just understand this V0 is nothing but the voltage drop across this parallel resistors due to this source. You can say it is mu into V1 multiplied by the parallel combination of RL and R1 plus R2, which is over here, divided by the overall resistance, which is R0 plus this parallel combination. That's what I have. But what is V1? So V1 is actually equal to, if you can just see this, so V1 is the voltage that is coming across, so VID. Now I can write this V1, it's again using the potential divider. It is VI multiplied by RID divided by the whole resistance, that is RS plus RID plus R11. So this is what I have. So substituting this V1 over here, so I'll get the expression for the open loop gain of the amplifier. Now it's a modified open loop gain, which was actually 10,000, has reduced to now 6,000. So by substituting all these values of open loop gain R1, R2, RL and R0, RID, we will get this as 6,000. You can see this has reduced from 10,000 to 6,000 in order to, because it has reduced because we have considered all these non-idealities of the source, load and the feedback network onto the amplifier itself. Now amplifier is taking the blame of all non-idealities so that it can use the same equation which was used for ideal circuits. Now you can see using this A as 6,000, we estimate what is Rin. So we know that of course with this as A as 6,000, beta happens to be 1 milli, and the closed loop gain of the amplifier becomes A by 1 plus A beta. This happens to be 857 volt per volt, and you can see the input impedance of the amplifier. You can see now this is Rin. So before that, we first find out what is RIF, that is input impedance with feedback. So RIF is Ri into 1 plus A beta, where Ri is nothing but it is the addition of RS, RID plus R11. So this is what you have. So this is R11 is R1 parallel R2. So we end up with this as 111K. So we'll see in the next video in detail.